Do you have an idea for a community project in your neighborhood? You could be eligible for up to $50,000 in funding through the City of Seattle's Neighborhood Matching Fund. Grants are awarded to grassroots projects that build stronger communities, with an emphasis on projects led by impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color BIPOC communities. To learn more about the Neighborhood Matching Fund or to see if your project meets the criteria, visit seattle.gov/neighborhoods/NMF.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not stopping a Mercer Island street brawl, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
For me, generational wealth is passed down knowledge from relatives or any family members, or even like any ancestral people that have come before you, that is, used to help you progress in the times that you're living in. So I think it is very updated. It's very current. It is existing in real time. So any type of knowledge or resources from people who are here living now, being able to provide that information and pass it down from generation to generation, how you maintain the wealth. That's what it means to me.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhoods Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Create your generational wealth for you and the future of your families.
The beat of the Fox with nastiness is back on K-Fox Night Beat.
Yo, what's the deal? It's the legendary Hall of Fame DJ Mixmaster Ice, UTFO.
What's up? Who you thought this is? This is Sir Mix-a-Lot.
And this is Terry Lewis.
And I'm Grand Mixer GMS.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Third Degree.
This is JJ Hudson from the High Children family.
Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's K-Fox Night Beat with DJ Nastiness.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music. Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
That's noise.
Peace. You are listening to
Rainier Avenue Radio,
your community radio station.
It's 7 o'clock on the dot, but I'm not in my drop top. Too cold. It's time for LidLine Sports. Buongiorno, buenos dias, and welcome to LidLine Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio .world. I am Pep, and my man O is on a Zoom. What's happening, O?
What's good, Pepster? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. Do you see me, bro? Do you see what I got?
I thought that was Cleveland Indians for a second. Okay, I'm
oh no, the hat
is Cleveland. Okay.
But,
I'm digging it though. No. I'm digging it though.
Well, I ordered this. Well, we ordered this a few months ago, and so Saturday, a bunch of our classmates, we had a celebration of life for one of our fallen classmates, and so a bunch of us wore our hoodies. And I saw this hat, and I had to get it because it was similar to the colors. And, of course, it's Cleveland. So even though I'm not a Cleveland Guardians fan, I'm still going to rock it because it's Cleveland. But I wanted to do this in tribute of our classmate, Michael B., who was well-loved, well-liked, very popular, funny guy, and we will miss him. For those that may know him from being the doorman at the Mayflower Hotel. He was the guy standing out front with the derby on, and he also was the one on YouTube and was shown on King 5 News every now and then. He had set up a camera at the hotel looking down on Union Street exit, filming car accidents that were coming off that exit. So he was well known for that. So it's a significant loss to our class, and so we paid tribute to him on Saturday. It was pretty awesome, actually, to be honest. It wasn't sad. It was quite joyous, as it should be. So his family was very happy with us, And so, yeah, I thought we did a great job tribute for him. So this is going to be kind of a different show for the most part, because folks listening in, tuning in, know that we like to talk about probably just basically NFL and NBA stuff. We got quite a myriad of different topics and that I want to get into today. So that's going to be the basis of most of the show. We're going to get into this, get into a little something of that. So that's how I want to do it. Oh, you got anything you want real quick? You got anything that you significant that you might want to put out real quick?
I'm pretty sure we would have mentioned this, but I guess a shout out to, I know for sure, the state championship winners.
Oh, yes, please do that.
Eastside Catholic High School on the boys' side of 3A. Shout out to them, Coach Brent. They had a really good season this year. Very much well deserved. They beat Rainier Beach in the state championship. Also, shout out to Rainier Beach High School. A lot of people didn't have Beach winning it this year. Not having as much talent as you're used to seeing a Beach team. But I was telling a friend of mine starting on Tuesday, I'll say they have just as much of a chance as anybody, just because how scrappy they play. And Coach Mike, in my opinion, one of the best high school coaches to come out of Seattle, he will get his guys to play. So also shout out to them. And on the girls' side, Garfield High School, 3A, Garfield High School girls, man, they just put on a great 4-year run, starting with their best player in Katie Fizo. I'm hearing she won 3 state championships, technically 4, but 1 was a COVID year. So that is an amazing stature, and I bring that up because I've seen a lot of people on social media, doing the whole comparison with Katie Fizo and none other than
Joyce
one
Walker,
of the most famous Garfield Bulldogs of all time, and Joyce Walker. And I'll say one thing, it's hard to really put an opinion. It's easy to put opinion on it. It's hard to do fact. Joyce Walker, first of all, is like a living legend. Like when you hear somebody speak on her, it's that what comes with that, and talking about her career that she had, not only just at Garfield, but just as a basketball player in general. But we have to give flowers given when given to, and regardless, whoever you say was better, the fact that Katie Fizo is even being mentioned,
there you go,
with Joyce Walker, is a feat in itself. And as her career plays on, and you let kind of this smoke die out, and you get to sit back and really, cherish her Garfield High School career, basketball career. Who's to say after the smoke is cleared? But it's easy to say right now, maybe she is the best Garfield High School basketball or women's basketball player. It is easy, but I never seen Joyce really play. I just heard the legend. It's almost like it's like hearing about a Michael Jordan when you hear about Joyce Walker. So that's why it's easy to say Katie now, but the winning that many state championships, putting up the numbers she's putting up, being I think a Jordan Classic player, going to Oregon, she's real. She deserves for her name to be spoken among. Not even just girls' grades, high school, Seattle high school grades, period. So she definitely deserves her flowers, regardless. All the people who's trying to knock it or put it one way or another, her flowers are given. So I want to give them to her for sure.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that I'm Joyce Walker was special because I'm a year older than her. And I actually played against her in a pickup game years ago. I can't even remember where it was at. And to be honest, one of the most proud moments, I should say, on the court is I was on her one time, right? And I knew some of her moves, right? I knew the spin move and all that. And she went up and I blocked her shot. That's and that's one of my most proud things, to say that I blocked a shot from Joyce Walker. But listen, she was phenomenal, and she will always get flowers from me. She knows how much I respect her and her game, and how much I love her. So yeah. And then Fizo, I saw her myself in person a couple of weeks ago at the regionals in Bellevue, and I was very impressed. I loved, you know, when I looked at her and watched her, I felt the same way that I felt about Zach Levine when I saw him in high school.
Okay.
I said, this cat is already a pro. It's just that he doesn't know it yet, but he could play. And I felt the same way with her, the way she was smooth and the way she was running the show and her demeanor. I said, yeah, I can see her as a pro. She's going to go to the University of Oregon, and you know, even though she's going to be a Duck, I want her to be successful and do very well, and then move on and be the best that she can be. So
yes.
I'm glad you gave them her and Rainier Beach. I saw them too a couple of weeks ago, and I said right then, I said the way they're playing now, they will be a problem in the state playoffs, and they were. Yeah, they made it all the way to the championship game, and just fell a little short to the best team. And they've been the best team probably all season long, right?
Well, actually, no, they've.
Well, at least the top two, right? Top 2 or 3.
No, I think Rainier Beach. Oh, you talking about Eastside Catholic?
Yes, that's what I'm
yeah.
Yeah. I meant Eastside Catholic has been, and so Rainier Beach came up against them and gave them a tough go, but Eastside Catholic prevailed.
Yeah.
So,
and just like you said, I mean, Beach was playing great at the right time, which is most important. I mean, they went, 500 with some of those top teams, or didn't beat some of those top teams, and none of that matters when you step onto that Tacoma floor. It doesn't matter at all.
Right.
So definitely a shout out. I can't think of his name, but their best player, number 0. His name just blanking out of my head right now. But he's going to be really good.
Kofi, and then the other guy, Acklog.
I'm thinking about for Beach. I was talking about Beach's best.
Oh,
Jacob Kofi's good too.
Right. Beach, what? Jaden Powers.
Yes, Caden Powers. That's one thing.
Caden, I'm sorry. Caden.
He's going to be really good. Yeah, he has one more year. Jacob Kofi's got sent off the right way, going to Virginia next year. So a lot of people were saying that possibly maybe a down year for the Metro. There was still a lot of talent, and it was shown. Even in Mount Spokane, who they had.
That Ryan Lafferty is the truth.
Exactly.
That dude is dope. I saw him in the regionals, and when I saw him, I said, "Oh yeah, please." Yeah.
I do want to give another shout out, Linden High School 2A boys. Okay. They won state, and then also Mount Si, who was just a juggernaut.
Right, Florida, they were undefeated as far as everybody in Washington. They lost 2 games out of state.
Yeah.
So they were definitely legit. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Man, good mention, bro. You did a great job mentioning the high school stuff, man.
For sure.
Yeah. So LeBron. 40,000 points. First and only. So he's in a class by himself as far as the scoring leaders go. His 21st year in the NBA, which is phenomenal. Look, we can debate and argue and whatever with who's the GOAT, but I'm gonna say this part: if from age 35 and up, LeBron clearly is the best player ever from that age up. Now look, when you're talking about prime Jordan, prime Kareem, prime Magic, all that. Listen, we can argue all day long, and nobody will be wrong, for real. That's just the way it is. Our opinions are just our opinions, but the thing about it, those things happened. So Kareem was a great high school, college, and pro player, and dominant in all 3. So you could say that he's the GOAT, and I'm not gonna say he's not. And same with Jordan. The way 6-0 in the finals, 6 MVPs. Okay, he's a GOAT for a lot of us, including myself. And we can get into Magic and Bird and all that, but from age 35 up, there is no dispute to me that LeBron James has been the greatest basketball player in that particular age stage ever. I mean, and he's still going. Look, he ain't dropped off yet. He's 40. He'll be 40 right soon or next. Yeah, he's 40. Gonna be 40 because I know he's the same age as my daughter. So
he's about to be 40. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so man, listen. When I was 40, I was okay, you know, but and listen, I'm never gonna say I was pro level, but I was really good, you know. I can play any court anywhere in the in the hood and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. And when I was 40, yeah, I was I was definitely things were going down. But if things are going down from LeBron, yeah, you could say 28 LeBron ain't the same as 39-year-old LeBron, but there ain't much fall off. There ain't that much fall off, and that's phenomenal. So I want to give LeBron his flowers because the guy gets so much hate. Some of it I get and is warranted, but for the most part, the guy's been great. He's been a good family guy. He's been good as far as the league is concerned. He's never been in no trouble. He's like I said, he's a family guy. He treats he's been phenomenal in that aspect. And I don't know why we give him so much hate. And, and it's not everybody, I'm just saying, we with the LOB, that's a group on Facebook called Love of Basketball. And man, every other day it's Kobe, it's LeBron, it's Jordan, that gets old, but I get it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think before I can get into like Bron's accolade, I think if Kobe and Michael lived in this era, like it'll be the same thing with them when it comes to some of the scrutiny that comes with trying to compare the three and having to really like knock the other two. So that comes with the territory of it. And but like I said, just like you said, real guys that watch basketball, we know to move past that nonsense, that some of those things that people say. But 40,000 points, Pep. This was, I feel like the first accolade that I got to saw from like the ground up. Like, me seeing, him beat, Kareem, that was special. But seeing him eclipse now something that, I know everybody said that Kareem's number will never be touched. I don't know if 40,000 points will ever be touched. And that just shows, like, if anything, it shows the longevity of LeBron James. It shows how long he's been playing at a high level since 18 years old. That's not easy to do. And I don't think there's anybody who's able to play at that high of a level from 18 until 39. I know Kobe was far and few in between, but, his first couple of years in the league wasn't like LeBron's.
Nope.
And then on top of that, he didn't make it to 39 with, him dealing with injuries. So just the fact how he's able to I know a lot of people want to know the mystery of how he's able to keep his body in tip-top shape.
Amazing.
For this, what'd you say?
I said amazing. And listen, we know all the rumors about PEDs and stuff.
Exactly.
So let's just forget all that right now.
Yeah.
Let's just forget that negativity and just stick with the positive. This because it's well deserved, and this is where I just want to go for this time.
Yeah, so 40,000. It's just a crazy number to reach when it comes to points. And this is also coming from somebody who doesn't even label himself as he's a pass first player is what he would say. This is somebody who's probably his best attribute is passing the ball. But knows that he can still score at an elite level. I think that's also something that says just paragraphs about him as a basketball player. He's going to break so many other records before his career is said and done, barring any injury, knock on wood. But the longevity, he may play until he's 45, Pep, and he probably has.
Probably, no doubt.
2-3 years.
I don't doubt that, actually.
Yeah. And he still has, the way he's playing, he's still a 20-point scorer, 25 and 5, at least for the next 2 years, easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
So do you agree with me when I said that from 35 up, he's
it's not even close.
Okay.
He is opening
I just want to think that I was way off on that.
He's opening up different avenues and ways to approach the game that is going to carry on from generations along. I think you will now see more guys being able to play at a high level. I mean, you're already seeing like Steph's still playing at a high level. KD is still playing at a high level. These guys are both, I think, 35, 34 years old. Chris Paul's even playing at a decent level when he's not hurt at his age. So it's just crazy. You start to see the guys take, a big step of, coming down around 35 years old. So it's just something that we'll say it. And like I said, I think we talked about this before, Pep. The legacies are different. There's just things that Michael has done that he was the first, and the way he did it, you just can't touch. But LeBron is now making his own path of doing things his way that they're just not going to be. Nobody's going to touch it the way that he's doing. Nobody's ever going to do it the way he does. So, like I said, I can't wait till they both are retired, and maybe LeBron's 5 years removed from retirement, and then we can all sit down on this table on one of these Mondays and debate it out for a good hour. That'd be super fun.
For real. We sure could. But you know what? There's one name oh my God, I wish we could invoke in this between Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan. Len Bias.
I'm not mad at that.
Oh my God.
What could have been?
What could have been? Because that guy, he's one of my all-time favorites as far as college players, because he set foot in the NBA and we know why and all that. Him and Chris Jackson, of course, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf are my two favorites. Man, those guys, to me, man, I loved watching them. I couldn't wait for Len Bias. And I hated the Boston Celtics at the time, but I could not wait for him to get on the court for them. Because, I probably would have been converted for real. Because I wasn't a Laker fan per se, but when the Lakers and the Celtics played each other, I always rooted for the Lakers. But I was ready to switch over, but that never happened as far as that's concerned. So that's just a name that, I'm not trying to bring us down, but I was like, I wanted Len Bias so bad to be in this conversation. And, it's just sad to me. Sticking with the NBA real quick, the gunshot wounds got murdered. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. GSW. I'm sorry. The Golden State Warriors. Yeah, thanks. Got murdered in Beantown, 140-88. So is that a death knell by the Celtics for the Warriors, saying you're done, your reign is over?
Well, a lot of things going to play into why the Celtics may have possibly took this game a little more serious than the Warriors. That was for sure. But why it meant more, the Warriors beat the Celtics on their home floor to take home a championship 2 years ago.
Yes.
So, that's something that I think stung in their minds for a while. But yes, I just also think the Celtics are in a mode right now because we've talked about this, Pep. They have been down this road plenty of times. And I'm pretty sure they hear the whispers of people saying, they've done this before. I'm not taking these guys serious. They're going to falter, possibly conference finals or the finals. I think these guys are trying to show that, they're not backing down from nobody, and they're ready to take on the challenge of winning a championship. And they proved that once again also on a primetime stage, beating a team that's won 4 championships in the last whatever song years by beating. They were up by 40 in the first half, Pep. And that's just something that, on my end, on the other side, just can't be allowed. I mean, I know it's easy to say for the Warriors, it's only one game, which it is. What matters is how you wake up and move on from it. But to get your butt kicked like that on national TV in front of the world, that kind of says some alarming things to me from that. And these are things that has been on course all season, though, Pep. It's the inconsistency. Just guys not knowing the role. We don't know where the offense is coming from. The defense is sometimes spotty. Steve Kerr and what he's doing. Draymond Green said that what they were doing defensively against the Celtics was to sag off on Jaylen Brown. What sense does that make?
It made none.
And it was like, Draymond can go in and say, like, well, it didn't work, we move on. But it's like, why would that even be a game plan? You're talking about a bona fide scorer, a guy who can shoot the ball. Why did it make sense to me? So it's just like at this point, you guys are trying whatever possible to get us going on a run, which they have been playing solid, the Warriors. But man, they're in trouble. But that's not because of that game. I've been feeling like they are in trouble, and I don't see them getting out the play-in, and they're going to be in for an uphill battle getting out the play-in and then playing that 1 or 2 seed in the first round. I just don't know where they go from here. But this team's not going to win a championship. How
is Chris Paul meshing with this team? Or
I think he's playing fine. But his issue is just like it is when he's on any other team, health. Not being able to play so many games with these guys, missing a stretch run. But I do think what was that?
Which is normal for him. It seems.
But I do like how he's able to free up Steph Curry, not having more play, making him play more off the ball than what he already does. I do like that, but defensively he's a liability, and that's something that we've seen over the last year or so. So I guess I can. I mean, we'll see what happens in the playoffs, but I mean, we can call that a dud. But luckily, I mean, it's only 1 year.
Isn't he the same age as LeBron? Or near, yeah. Chris, about the same.
1 year younger, I believe.
Oh, and it seems like his abilities, his play is okay, but it's nowhere near what he used to be. Whereas LeBron, who's a year older, is still upper echelon, which is amazing. And that's another thing that people need to look at. Look how amazing that is.
I do think in a smaller role, Chris Paul can still definitely help the team.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, right now, the Warriors have bigger problems with just Chris Paul. It's, figuring out, still trying to figure out Klay's role on the fly right now. Can Jonathan Kuminga be that consistent second scorer every night? Who's gonna bring us energy off the bench, scoring wise, and all that? So, yeah, I don't know, but that was an ugly loss by far.
Ooh, man, it definitely was, man. I mean, I watched the first few minutes of it because we were on our way out, and it looked like Golden State was going to hang tough for a little hot second, for a cup of coffee, but then all of a sudden, Jaylen Brown started going nuts, in the first quarter. I got in the car, and next thing I know, they said Jaylen Brown's got 19. I'm like, what? Man, what the heck? It didn't take me that long to get in the car.
Yeah, and then by the end of the second quarter, he passed the baton to Jason Tatum. He got going and then finished him off in the third. So I don't even think Steph Curry, Draymond, and Klay came out in the second half. I don't think they came out the locker room.
Well, that's how that went, right? That's how it was like, forget it. Yeah, don't even bother, Yeah, so and then Porzingis, he's the X factor for the Celtics. He's really been a great addition. Sometimes certain pieces fit. And, he didn't fit in Dallas. He didn't fit in New York, but he definitely fits in Boston. Just like Baker Mayfield, to go to the NFL real quick. He didn't fit in Cleveland for the most part. He didn't fit in Carolina at all. He didn't fit in the Rams, really. He didn't do bad. He just wasn't their guy. But he got to Tampa, and now, you know what? He seemed to fit there. So I hope he stays there. And then, of course, they signed Mike Evans 2 more years, so that should work out. But, yeah, so Porzingis is the X factor. He's fit. He fits there nice. So when we come back, we still got a whole lot more stuff to talk about. We're going to get into Caitlin Clark, the NFL Combine. We're going to talk about the Seahawks, the M's. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Rainier Avenue Radio. Rainier Avenue Radio.
pandemic. I'll take coronavirus for 100. Fever, chills, shortness of breath, loss of taste or smell. What is stay at home and isolate? Correct. Coronavirus for 200. Inability to stay awake, persistent pain or pressure in chest, trouble breathing. What is seek immediate help?
Coronavirus for 500.
Crippling and potentially dead infectious disease eliminated the United States with vaccination.
What is your polio vaccine? I'll take coronavirus for 700.
The Daily Double! Should I take the coronavirus vaccine? Wait. Hold up. This is not a game. It's time for serious discussions. We have coronavirus vaccines, but not everyone is comfortable taking them. Here's the facts. Based on what has been proven about vaccines for other diseases, COVID-19 vaccine may help keep you from getting seriously ill, even if you do get the virus. Getting vaccinated also may protect people around, particularly those at greater risk for severe illness from COVID-19. We don't yet have all of the answers. Get informed, talk to your healthcare physician, and make the right decision for you. This is a message supported by the Washington State Department of Health.
Hello, I'm Tony Young, and every week I will be your guide to the music of the Fab Four with my show With the Beatles. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, those four lads from Liverpool. First airings are Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. with repeats on Thursdays and Saturdays from 8 to 10 a.m. right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Tune in to catch Beatlemania.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Support for Rainier Avenue Radio comes from Cascade PBS, presenting season 2 of Out and Back with Allison Mariella Desir. Join Allison as she explores the Pacific Northwest with changemakers who are reclaiming space in the outdoors and creating opportunities for local BIPOC communities to engage with nature and find joy and healing. It's available now on Cascade PBS app and airing on KCTS 9 Thursdays at 8:50 p.m.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not busy tearing the roof off the suckers, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Welcome back to the second half of our show, LidLine Sports, right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. O is on Zoom. He thinks he's part of the Commodores. You old heads will get that reference. I am Pep. And right now I want to start off with the second half with Caitlin Clark, as she became NCAA's all-time scoring leader for Division I. Division I, I say, that's key. As she closing out her final season with the Hawkeyes against the Ohio State Buckeyes with a 93-83 win for Iowa. Clark entered the last regular season game 17 points shy of Pistol Pete Maravich, whose career record stood at 3,667 points since 1970. That's pretty awesome. So she hit a free throw towards the end of the first half, and she didn't even know that she had broken the record at halftime until when they announced it and everybody started screaming. That's when she knew. Pistol Pete, there's one caveat I've got. Pistol Pete did it in 3 years. He could not play as a freshman.
Yep.
Sophomore, junior, senior, averaged 44 points per game. So, I'm a Pistol Pete guy. I loved him. A lot of people back in the early 70s, late 60s, thought he was a showboat, thought he played too black, in quotations. So, yeah, he was popular, definitely amongst us city boys, right? But he was not very well liked and admired by coaches like, say, John Wooden. Those kind of guys, they didn't really care for his play. And what he did. But look, Pistol Pete was a pistol. He was tough to handle, and so yeah. But shout out and kudos to Caitlin Clark for her achievements, and now she will be selected probably one or two. Right now, the Indiana Fever in the WNBA have the first pick and probably will select her to join Aaliyah Boston for a 1-2 combo right there.
That's gonna be nasty.
Ooh, yes. So, what are your thoughts on that, brother?
I just think it's funny. A lot of those old coaches, and no knock, they are elite coaches, Hall of Fame coaches.
Mm-hmm.
But some guys like John Wooden, if he coached in this era, if he ever would have saw Steph Curry play in college.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Look, Caitlin Clark, and you're right. That feat of how Pete did it, there's no way to top that, even though Caitlin did break the record officially. Doing that in 3 years those are just one of those like accolade, one of those like records that you put up there is just like you're in awe of. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely in awe of Caitlin Clark doing it. It's not like she took 6 on, took 4 years. But I think for her, it just shows how much she has transcended the women's basketball game and has taken that to another level, which is why it is on even ground with even though P did it in 3, she is changing the women's game right in front of our eyes. And I think that Caitlin Clark was very much needed in a time that, women's basketball was, there was in no man's land and, trying to figure out a way to make this game more exciting. Mm-hmm. And now you got women's national basketball games going for $500 a pop when she's playing. Yep. You're getting more views, especially in the college basketball game. And that'll carry over for Caitlin Clark when she touches the WNBA. And not just her, but there's other players coming right behind her.
Yes.
All the way down from Juju Watkins. Yep.
Just mentioned. Yeah, I was going to mention that.
And even Angel Reese in between. And
yes.
She has put a flame and a torch that she will pass on, but she will keep carrying as she goes onto the WA. And when we get older, like that's going to be a name possibly if her career keeps ascending the way it is. Mm-hmm. She will be on your Mount Rushmore for women's basketball players.
I love it, man. I love these up and coming women coming out. I like Caitlin Clark, and then like we mentioned, Juju's coming up next. Juju Watkins, thank you. Yeah, Juju Watkins. She's something else. So she's the next one. So yeah, I want to get a couple of quick shout outs real quick. Masia Lava Oi, my man, Michael Carter, aloha. Rhonda Dorsey, of course, Nancy Conyers. I did not watch the World Indoor Track Championships, and I'm sure it was phenomenal. And yes, we know that Russell will be released next week, March 13th. We'll probably get more into that next week.
Okay.
So yeah. And of course, Bill Walker Jr., my man. It's always nice to have you on board. Speaking of the NFL, real quick, the combine, I saw some of that with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. Man, let me say this. I watched Michael Penix throw and the guys that showed up, not including Caleb Williams, who showed up but didn't throw. Drake May showed up but didn't throw, and then so on and so forth. Look, Michael Penix Jr. is the real deal. I mean, look, I know that when I was watching them, I was watching ball placement, when they were doing these routes, and he was perfect just about every time, at least 99% of the time. His ball placement was special. It was right there, especially those sidelines, which are hard to do. Because I noticed a couple of the guys like Keaton Slovis, and then they were a little off when they were doing the sideline throws. So that tells you the difference in skill level and where you should be drafted when it comes to guys like Penix, who to me was way above those tier of quarterbacks that were throwing. So does that mean he kind of elevated himself up in the first round? Or yeah, I'd say yeah. Now, look, we know that he's not facing any pass rush, because it's a whole different ball game. And Washington, University of Washington, had an elite offensive line that kept him upright. So he needs to go to a team that could probably do the same thing. Now, look, there could be some issues if he comes to the Seahawks, because that offensive line is still struggling. So if he would come here, would that would have to be you definitely have to address that. So, but to me, he was head and shoulders above, as far as what I was looking at in the combine, above the skill, his throws, his downfield throws were on the money. He was calm, and you could tell he felt like he was just doing what he normally does. It didn't matter who he was throwing to, Rome or Polk or McMillan. They weren't out there, but still, he was throwing to the receivers like he was throwing to those guys. It was on the money. So I don't know. I don't like the fact that they keep downgrading him and worrying about his health, which he passed all physical tests. So, and that's not going to be an issue, right? But like I said, he's got to go to the right team. He's got to go to the right offensive line to keep him upright. So I think he's going to flourish.
Pep, I get it. This is part of the evaluation process when it comes to, scouting players coming to the draft. And it's also with the NBA, I hate it too. Like, I sometimes feel that teams and front offices, they worry about this stuff way too much. And just thinking about who can play and who can't, and who's going to play, who's played on a high level, and what they could possibly do in your offense or defense. So, like, and I get it. It's with the NFL, I do get some of the athletic things that these guys do. I get that part. But at the end of the day, I mean, when the ball is in your hands or you're on the other side of the ball, can you make plays or not for me? I just think sometimes it just comes down to that, and I think teams overthink and over-evaluate. But there's no reason why Michael Penix isn't the second quarterback to go off the board, in my opinion. We're talking about, especially in an NFL now, where you're looking for gunslingers, which is what he is, who can move pretty decently around the pocket. He's not as much as a scrambler, as much as you would want him to be. When he's sitting in that pocket, though, he is making plays with the ball in his hands. Just like you said, he makes damn near picture-perfect throws. So why would you not want that? Why would that not be somebody you would want to draft if your need is at quarterback? Especially, no disrespect, but over the J.J. McCarthy's and Bo Nix, who I think is pretty decent.
I like him.
When you see pro, I see Michael Penix.
Right.
I almost even see it a little more than what's his name, Caleb from USC. But I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you're not the only one, because I heard one of the talking heads. I can't remember which one it was. There's been, of course, a plethora of them. But one of them said today that after the combine, he said, look, there's no question Michael Penix is the best quarterback. And that's including Caleb and Drake May and your standard, whoever, they feel is number 1 or 2, whatever. He said Penix is the best one. So, okay. And what I saw, I don't see anything that makes me want to dispute that. I thought he looked pretty good, and I just like his demeanor as far as on the field. He just looks like, yeah, this is what I do. And so whoever gets him, I think in about 4 or 5 years, and if, like I said, if things, play out right as far as his health and staying upright, bro, we're gonna be calling him a top 5. We might be calling him top 5. And look, we might be saying he's better than Caleb, and but he may or may not be. We don't know. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I'm just going by what I've seen, because I've seen him all year, right? And up here in the Pacific Northwest, and I've seen Caleb quite a bit, and he's good. To me, yeah, and okay, I get why the NFL is drooling all over him. I get that, but man, I just don't like the way they're not, how they're underestimating.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Pep, me and my friends have a saying when it comes to like watching and trying to evaluate some of these kids or like even older players. Like, what do your eyes tell you? You can give me all these. You can give me all these
thank you.
numbers.
Yeah.
You can give me all these numbers and all these stats.
I'm
What
glad
does your
you
eyes
said
tell
that.
you when you're watching? It's
Yeah.
sometimes that simple.
Yeah, I was thinking that on the way here. In the car, I was thinking, yeah, you know what, folks, we could all listen to these talking heads and till our ears fall off. But what do you see when you're watching? You don't have to. You don't have to be an expert on football, right?
I was just about to say
But-
this isn't algebra. This is sports. So,
But people like myself, you, Carter, Bill Walker Jr., we watch football, and a lot of us, a couple of us have been watching for 40, 50 years. So, look, I'm not going to say I can go out there and coach folks,
yeah,
this and that, but I know what I'm looking at, right? I know so, man, I'm glad you brought that point. So, folks, you don't have to always listen to Stephen A. and these clowns. And look, a lot of them make great points. I don't want to disparage them at all. But some of them are clowns. I'm not saying Stephen A. is one. He can be clownish, but he knows his stuff really well. So I will tell you that. But yeah, so I like to watch, and I man, you nailed it, bro. Eye test,
Yep.
So. And then, of course, the wide receivers, we've got Marvin Harrison Jr., who I've said all along was my number one guy. But then this year, Romo Dunze, I said he's 1A. And look, you can flip-flop him. I'm not going to fight you. If you say Rome is better than Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm not going to fight you. Because both are dope. And then people want to say, well, Malik Neighbors is better than both of them. And I'm like, okay, he's great. And then I've seen Keon Coleman from Florida. Man, look, whoever gets him, watch out. Then you got Troy Franklin from Oregon. Yeah, okay. You can bypass him if you want to. Whoever picks him up is going to be happy. They got a myriad of guys that are just coming out that are outstanding. And then look, when Puka Nacua came out, look what he did in his rookie year. Nobody thought of him as a top wide receiver last year. Nobody was talking about him. So there's probably a guy out there right now that's going to be Puka Nacua next season.
How happy are you with Xavier Worthy's 40-yard dash?
Hey, 40-yard dash, great. Does he have hands? Can he run routes?
True.
Can he get off the ball? That's the thing. So, yeah, that's impressive, of course. So if he can do those things, that's another one.
But see, that's why I talk about, you can do all this stuff in the combine, especially the NFL, NBA combines. Like, what are you going to do in a real live game? But I just talking about pure athleticism, I did think that this was super impressive. 4.21, broke the record held by John Ross. I thought that was super impressive. But you're right, though, when it comes on the field.
He was rolling.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Look on the screen right now. He's moving. Yep. Yeah, it was very impressive. But, there's a difference. There's a difference between running a 40 speed, running with equipment, and somebody chasing you.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a big difference. Now, a lot of these guys that run 4.3s, 4.4s, whatever, you say, oh, well, he's not as fast. Oh, but he might be faster when some guy is bearing down on him. Right? There's a difference. We've seen it. So, don't fall in love with Xavier Worthy because he's 4.21. and you bypass somebody like Troy Franklin from Oregon.
But somebody is going to, though. Somebody is going to base
absolutely. Absolutely. So where will the Seahawks now? They stand at 16. If they stay there, where are they going to go? Are they going to go with best player available? Are they going to go to a position of need? Are they going to go with a quarterback? man, man, I can't. April can't come soon enough. Because we need to find out what they're going to do, so then we can forecast or try and diagnose what's going to happen for the upcoming season as far as with the quarterback and what they're going to do position wise. Should be pretty interesting. What do you think?
Very interesting. I think it's even more interesting with the story unfolding of Geno Smith coming in as your starting quarterback, having a perplexing quarterback coming in to the NFL who is possibly going to be around that range, who was in your backyard, who I'm pretty sure you did a lot of homework on, the glaring need is the defensive line. So that's another thing. Who is on your big board when it comes to that? Will he be there with your pick at 16? Will you do the trading back, or will you take best available? But I can't be mad. I know a lot of people, a lot of Seattle fans will be mad if Michael Penix is passed up by the Seahawks if he's available.
Yeah.
I just hope that if we do not pick him, that it is something that is a big need, and that is from linebackers to defensive line.
Yeah.
It has to be one of those two positions. But yes, I would love to see them kind of think a little bit outside the box and draft Michael Penix. But
they did that last year, thought outside the box when they got Witherspoon. So, but that was a different regime as far as the coaching is concerned. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mike McDonald does and thinks. And I thought it was interesting that the coaches didn't go to the combine. And if you missed the combine, you could probably still watch it on NFL Network. They still have replays. And then, of course, YouTube is always my friend. You can watch all kind of videos and stuff as far as the combine is concerned on YouTube. So if you missed it, you definitely can catch it. And, of course, so my thoughts on, the quarterback situation, that's going to be very interesting to see what they do. I'm kind of leaning towards it. I'm thinking they really are looking at Penix, because why send the coaches there when you already have a coach that knows them? For what? If you have a question on Michael Penix Jr., just ask Ryan Grubb. So he can give you all the information you need. He can give you his personality, how he conducts himself in the locker room, his leadership on the field. If you need any of that, just ask him. He'll tell you. So, why you didn't have to be there. So, I'm cool with that. KJ Wright's going to the San Francisco 49ers as an assistant linebackers coach. Good for him. I'm not mad at him. Bro, it's a job, right? It's a job. And we don't know if he was in play with the Seahawks at all at any point. But regardless, whether he was or wasn't, he's found a landing spot with a rival. And I'm sure, listen, you can't turn off love, hate, whatever like that. So I know for a fact he's going to go down there and do his job. Yeah. But I guarantee you, when he's playing against the Seahawks, in the back of his mind and in his heart, he wants the Seahawks to do well. Of course, he's going to want the Niners to win because that's who he's coaching now. But I guarantee you, he's still a Seahawk rooter, against other teams. And I'm sure that he would like for San Francisco to beat the Seahawks 24-23, something like that, right? He'd be happy with that. So shout out to KJ. Good job. I listen to some of his podcasts on KJ all day. Sometimes I watch him and G Scott. So they do a great job. So they're awesome. And so if they ever listen to us, I'll let them know that they do a great job. Like I said, we mentioned already Russell is going to be cut next week, so we'll get more probably into that in the coming weeks. Tiger Woods, real quick, unleashed a new logo last month. Did you see that at all? Yeah, Sunday Red. Did you see that?
What's that pertaining to?
Well, it's his brand now. See that? Okay. It looks like a tiger, right?
Well, I do remember
he got rid of the TW I don't know
Yeah.
what the Sunday Red. I don't know what that's
Well,
about.
I do remember he left Nike, so I do remember that.
Yes.
So,
So
Okay.
yes. So there it is. If folks watching, it's the new logo. Tell me what you think. The M's spring training. I will be down there soon to look for myself. But I've been listening to some broadcasts on the radio, and look, I know it's spring training. I hear all that, but I'm not trying to hear all that because right now they are garbage. They're getting blown out. They got blown out the last 2 games. They're giving up runs like nobody's business in every game. I mean, even if they lose 8-7, they're still giving up a ton of runs. And it's not. And I'm not even concerned about the starters yet, but it's the middle relief and who they're playing. And then look, people are saying, well, they're playing the AAA guys, they're playing young guys. Well, guess what? So is the other team, and they're getting blown out. So that's kind of scares me that their future ain't that bright then, right? As far if you're talking about young guys and what they're doing now, but the other teams are doing the same thing and they're killing us.
Yeah, and also, I try not to put too much in spring training. I don't like, especially, your starters who are only going to pitch 1 to 3 innings. We already saw, Luis Castillo not have a good start. We've already seen Kirby get blasted in a game before too. So those aren't good ways to, start out spring training for sure. But like I said, I don't know what to think about the Mariners as of today. And I probably won't know what to think about the Mariners all the way up until May. So I'm taking this a game at a time when it comes to them. People are yelling that the experts are yelling out that we have the best rotation, pitching rotation in the MLB. I'm surprised by that, but I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that all the young guys take that next step up. The only 2 pitchers that I'm somewhat confident in is Luis Castillo and George Kirby. Everybody else, I mean, I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm with you, and especially looking at this spring and what's going on, man. Look, I'm not optimistic at all. And look, I'm tired of these slow starts. I'm sick of them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, every year they go off in April, and look, and they want to blame it on the marine air in Seattle. Then why are you starting off at home all the time? Why don't you go on the road? Why don't you go down to Arizona, or why don't you go down to California and start off the season then? Okay, if you're worried about the marine air so much, how about see what you give me down there?
Those are just bad excuses. I mean, those same teams are playing in the same environment that you're playing in, even when they come home. So I mean, even though you're not putting up runs, you're still giving up you're still giving up more runs than you're putting up. So I mean, something definitely has to give with these slow starts. I mean, it's crazy because when we weren't good, we start off fast. So I don't understand, what's going on now that there's expectations on the line.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that sorry about that. I don't like the fact that they're doing a platoon situation in third base, a key position that you need from power, from one thing, because last year we didn't get any power from our first baseman, and then Eugenio was pretty sporadic last year. So now, Ty France looks like he might have fixed his issues, hopefully.
I hope so.
Crossed. Yeah, and then of course now third base, they didn't get Matt Chapman. He signed with the Giants, which I'm actually okay with, because even though he's a superior defensive player, I wasn't too sold on him with his
average
bat.
hitter.
Because to me, he was just going to be another Geno, strikeout king. So we don't need that. But I'm not too confident in Rojas Urias. So hopefully that. And then of course they got Anderson as well. Ryan, I think, whatever. I can't remember his first name. But anyway. So we'll see. Real quick, Nancy Conyers mentioned and Doreen mentioned that Tiger wears red on Sundays. I forgot about that. So good point. Okay. Thank you. That's the reason for the Sunday red. So yeah, that makes sense. What's one more thing? One more thing. Oh, the Sounders are 0-1-1, looking like trash. Can't score. What else is new? Yeah, and the Kraken, they're fighting for the playoff lives. But they're look, I'm still high on the Kraken. I think if they get in the playoffs, they can do some damage. So we'll see. So next week I will be out of town, but I will try and see if I can zoom in like you. So I'll be watching some spring training. So next week we got more great sports talk. Hopefully we'll have another variety to talk about like we did today. On behalf of my man O and Daniel, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.